Hey everyone, and welcome back. We are going to be making a great interactive prototype, or should I say prototypes, plural. We're going to have a bunch of different prototypes breaking down this entire web page. The reason why I'm doing multiple prototypes is because I think it's easier to manage individual parts of the page and to show enough variety of interactions rather than trying to mash together a massive prototype that could take hours to kind of put together and maintain. At least this way we can break it down page by page, or I should say section by section, and actually really focus in on the details in that section. It's going to be great for you to show off, and it's also going to be great for you to communicate to others. So let's jump right in. So in our last video, we talked about the introduction, and now we want to continue building this prototype. So let's take a look what I did within the design prototypes that you have. So I have this screen. Okay, we're going to ignore that beginning. And then we have this learn more or scrolling. And then we had the button turn black, and we had this kind of parallax. So let's go back one more time. Okay, so we have like a nice little stagger effect. Let's do a nice little stagger effect, another kind of parallax effect. So let's duplicate this page. We'll bring it down here. And we're gonna stick with what we have. So you know what? Let's actually delete this. We can bring in another landing page, and then we can customize it any which way we like. So what we're going to do is we're going to connect these last two pieces. We'll work on those and we won't worry about the rest. So we'll just delete that. So I'm holding Command while I'm shrinking that. Okay, so what we want to do here is we want to be able to drag. So we're going to have to simulate dragging. If you want to do like anchor points or anchor button like I had in the original prototype that you have with the learn more, you can do that as well. Totally up to you. But I'm going to actually just use the drag option, because if you take a look at this, I kind of have the drag option here, the drag interaction. So you can do that as well. So we're going to work on that. So let's jump right in. Now, what we're going to do here is we are going to ensure that these items actually fade off the page. Well, this is our first frame. So actually we're going to copy it. So let's copy it. And these items are going to be dragged off the frame. And we're going to do them at different speeds. So what we're going to do is we're going to select these, and then we're going to bring them all the way up. All the way up. We're going to make sure to do that. Just make sure that okay, so we got that. We are going to change. So what we did here is we're going to make sure that we have this color change. So we're going to keep that black. So we're going to change that. So we're going to have a nice fill over there. And I have the navigation selected. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create a fill. So that way anything that goes behind it won't come through the actual frame like you see here, since it'll be white. So I'm just going to make sure this is brought to the front and it's fixed just like the other one. So everything kind of just goes behind it. And we're going to have to ensure that these pages here move up as well. Great. And we can actually extend this a bit. So we'll leave that. And then in our next screen, we are going to bring these pieces finally in. So we'll bring those in nicely, just as you kind of see it. So we'll bring those in, and you kind of have to think of these like using a storyboard. I know it's hard, but it is honestly the only way I have had success breaking these frames down. So we'll make another duplicate, because then we have to think about how we would like this screen to move up. So we'll just move this as one large frame like this. And then we will have this come in first and overlay. And in the next screen, we'll have the other content come in. So we'll have the other content come in nicely and match right up. I've got that red line right there. So that's perfect. Let me just make sure. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep this as is. So we'll move this over here like that. Then we will start to stagger our delivery. So I'm just moving it up. I know you can't see it because it is white, but I'm just going to make sure that it's literally almost touching there. And then I'm going to stagger the delivery of these items like that. So we're going to move that up. And then in this screen, what's going to happen is we are going to like that and like this. So we now have a nice step-by-step, almost mirroring what is happening here. So let's actually link it together. So you could see how I've staggered the content before it comes into the frame. So the content here, as you can tell, is staggered, like it's a step after step. It's going down. So this one will come in first. This one will come in second. This one will come in third. Same thing with this content. This will come in first and this one will come in shortly after. So let's take a look. So on drag, we are going to smart animate. We can take a look at what I have here. So I do have it set to 1500. And then these are set to 750 milliseconds. So this is going to be an after delay. Beautiful. So we'll set that to an after delay of 7. Oh, let's set that to 1. And we'll set this to 750 milliseconds. Perfect. That looks really good. And then this one is a drag as well. So then I believe I'm going to just keep 750 moving forward. Perfect. Let's take a look at what we have thus far. So we have flow 2. So this is what we have. That was really nice. And we can actually just kind of fine tune that just a bit. So I actually like it lasting a bit longer than that. So we can try 15. So let's go back. Maybe a little too long. And this is what I mean when I say that sometimes you're going to have to go back and fine tune these little animations little by little just to get them right. But I'm really focused on ensuring that everyone has a really good understanding of how to use Figma and how to create some really nice designs that we can animate together. So there we go. I've staggered them even more, so the delivery should be a little bit more different. Let's do the same here. Just making sure that everything is aligned properly. Okay, great. Now let's take a look. So let's restart. Cool. Let's do it one more time. Nice. And even with this prototype here, this frame, we can go in to the very top, trying to find the original images. Just make sure that is the one. Okay, that is the one. So we can see if this great. So I'm just making sure once again. Okay, so let's move on. Now we need to animate this next section. So let's link it together after delay. And we could do 1,000, and we'll do the exact same thing for the following frame. Let's take a look. So we're going to restart it. Okay, so one thing I didn't like was, let's turn this into a drag. That's fine. But I actually do want to have the background come in. So I have the background now. Now let's take a look. Press R. We're gonna pull that up. We have a nice change up there as well. Wow, that is looking great. And the one thing we can change, we can stagger the delivery here of the different items. So we can even get a nicer effect. Let's take a look again. That is great. And that is how we can start creating some pretty cool parallax effects. Let's move on to some other sections.